You're listening to Smart Bug on Tap, a weekly podcast of short, actionable inbound marketing advice that you can use in your business right away. I'm Hannah, VP of Marketing at SmartBug Media and host of this podcast. And in fact, this is the final episode of this season, and man, do I feel like it flew right by. During this season, we touched on intent data and chatbots, quick wins for the sales team, reporting and dashboards, and so much more. I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple episodes. But I'm going to wrap up with this final episode of this season talking all about TikTok. I want to talk about how you can get started, some ideas and some campaign ideas that I have for you. So if you're thinking that TikTok is just for teens or the Gen Zers out there, think again. Brands are growing, recruiting is flourishing, and more leads than ever are being generated from this social platform. So if you haven't started yet, or maybe you're just getting started with TikTok, it's time to jump in. Let's dive in. First and foremost, I'm a total fraud. I have no clue what I'm doing when it comes to TikTok, and I am definitely leaning into that fake it or make it type of mentality. But you have to start somewhere, right? And so you can come along with me and join in this journey. One meme that comes to mind is if you've seen it floating around on Instagram, that no, I'm not on TikTok. I'm watching the 2-week-old trends on Instagram like all the other millennials. That's me. That gives you a sense of who I am and just how in tune I am with these social platforms. For a while, I was thinking of TikTok like Vine, just as far as social trends go. But this one seems like it's sticking. And hot damn, I'm going to feel very old if you're not even sure what Vine is. But I won't even get started on MySpace. And times are changing. If you want to stay sharp in this industry as a marketer, you can't walk, you can't crawl, you have to run to keep up. And TikTok's no different. As a business, you join TikTok for a few reasons. I think that you're joining TikTok to try to increase your brand awareness, gain some more followers from maybe more community engagement, earn more loyalty, and maybe delight in your brand sentiment. People are going to fall in love with your brand a little bit more if they see that you're on TikTok. And ultimately, you're going to be selling more. Either you're selling more careers at your job because you're proving how great of a culture you have at your company, or you're selling more in terms of products and services. TikTok's number one marketing benefit is definitely going to be around building community. And TikTok thrives off of niche communities. Whether you're kind of a book nerd, you're into book clubs, if you're into art or pop culture, sports, fashion, self-care, cars, so on, there's really something that's a niche for everybody. And I've started to even discover that there's all these different kind of pockets of B2B marketing niches and sales niches and developer niches, and whether you're marketing to product owners and the CIO or security officers, or you're a financial institution, or you're like me working in marketing services, I do think that TikTok can have a service or have a place kind of in terms of your products and your services. And this is a whole new world for me. So I'm going to start with all the questions that I had as I was starting to dive into TikTok. And maybe that kind of resonates with you, makes you feel like, oh, I've got these same questions too. So some of the questions that I had was, what makes something trendy on TikTok? What tools do I need to be using to monitor the trends? What type of audience is even on TikTok? Is it the right spot for me and my brand to be at? How do you even drive leads? And how do you get started? Okay, let me run through a couple tips on what I think to do for all of these. And hopefully this is a good starting point for you if you're building up your TikTok presence. TikTok is a huge trend culture. That's what it's built off of. That's the concept behind TikTok. And it's not just dance routines, although those are fun to watch, very addicting. I'm guilty of watching all sorts of dance routines on TikTok. But there's also other clever content like lip syncing, trending audio, any sort of kind of travel content, which works really well for remote companies. Lots of kind of fashion and beauty and home hacks, recipe hacks, random filters that people are using. Lots of things are starting to trend. And the best way to figure out what's trending, you don't need any other kind of additional tools in your tech stack. I think that you just need to dip into TikTok itself. Grab the app, go check out the discovery page, and start to really save some of the content that resonates well with you. You find it aligns to your brand's voice, but you can also start to see some of these analogies of how can I take what they're doing, maybe it's a clever song or a dance or a home hack, and flip it into the business script and then the messaging and the campaign stories that I'm doing from a marketing side. Tap into what already works, but experimenting is key. And, what works on TikTok is not going to be your same social strategy of what's going to work on other platforms, certainly not on YouTube or LinkedIn. Although I'm definitely learning, hence why I mentioned the meme, that Instagram is a great replay of most of your TikTok content. So you can get some cross-platform content there. Now, if you're going to be trying to figure out, what tools to be using, I just think that you really want to be more consistent, right? So it's not this matter of having all the fancy tools to listen to trending audio or figuring that out. I think you can just dive right into TikTok and start to learn and save and absorb some of the content that matches with your brand. But what I do think you need to do is be really consistent. And so it's not this one-time campaign push. I would recommend getting into a regular rhythm, publishing daily, or if that's too much, maybe it's the same time every week, or you do kind of a fresh load once a month, whatever kind of works well for your brand. But the consistency side is really key. And dedicating time each month, we're doing MBRs or monthly business reviews, looking at our social results and trends, and taking that insights, that data and iterating from there is going to be really critical as you continue to grow your presence on TikTok. What I've been doing is I'm saving some of the content from the discovery pages too, is if it's a song, then I'm kind of like right then and there thinking about, all right, how can I rewrite these lyrics to make them align to the services or the offering or the call to action that I might have. And one example of that is the trending song right now by Lizzo called About Damn Time. And I thought that could play a really nice analogy if it was a perspective from, a sales rep saying, hey, it's about damn time. I got some leads, or I'm getting the revenue, or here we are with inbound marketing. And so I'm going to do kind of a whole rewrite of those lyrics and play that into how we're going to work it into trending TikTok. There's some fun services because I certainly am not going to get up and sing a song, and I'm not going to ask anyone on my team to do that. So you can use some, fun little musical services to rewrite the lyrics for you. Or if you have someone that wants to be that persona for you and writing the songs, then that's great too. But again, it's not always just about dancing. One other content idea that we're doing, we have a whole campaign around recipes for marketing campaigns. And they're pretty clever. We did, webinar waffles and I want to say it was like trendy tacos or TikTok tacos maybe. But the tacos, the gazpacho, the waffles, they all had to do with different inbound marketing strategies. And so then what we're doing is we're making those actual recipes and then overlaying clever captions that are tied back to the campaign and the content piece itself. This is a great example of, having kind of that multi-channel mix of different campaigns and channels that you're going to use to leverage just one piece of content. So that content has been the gift that keeps on giving. We printed it once for a conference, and now we're using it in all sorts of different clever ways. I think as you're trying to figure out, is this the right place for me? That's where I would experiment really. But if you're finding that your social channels are growing and you're starting to see more of your clients on there, TikTok's going to be the right place for you for sure. But if you're wondering, well, how do I drive leads? It's all about having the link in your bio. And we're now playing around with rotating those links in our bios quite frequently. So, as a fully remote company, it was a little tricky for us to figure out how do we get started. I've definitely seen some other brands do the TikToks in their office. Some of them even go as far as having a mascot. They do mascot Fridays, and they'll do them filming around and kind of silly things or quirky things around their office. For us, we tapped into more of a remote culture. So we have people that are working globally, working remote, and we're leveraging some of their travel content as part of our one of our themes on our TikTok channel. But also we're starting to get together as a company for a company retreat. And so I'm running a contest, and we'll give away a nice prize for the person or the people, if it's a whole group, that puts together the best TikTok while we're out at a company retreat. Or you can do the same thing at a conference. I think spiffs and rewards are a really great way to get your whole company involved. And that works for us. We want to have multiple faces and lots of people representing our brand. But some companies, they play well with having, one representative, one spokesperson that is their TikToker. So you can kind of play around with what works best for your brand. As you're starting to get through it, I would recommend your first few, you build out a storyboard, you really lay out like what's your plan, make sure you have your lyrics all down, record the content on your phone. You can use ring lights and stands there, but it should be kind of low key, low budget. That's the name of the game when it comes to TikTok. And then you're editing directly in the TikTok app. You don't have to get too fancy with your video editing, and you'll publish from there. So if you produce a lot all at once, there is one tool I'll recommend, which would be Later, and I think it's Later app or later.com. But you'll want to use that to schedule out everything in bulk. And so we're planning on getting quite a bit of content all at once from a conference, but we'll time that out and space it out throughout. Well, okay, that's all I got. There you have it. TikTok in about 10 minutes from the old-fashioned marketer's perspective. I hope that was helpful and makes it just a little easier for you to get started with TikTok and start experimenting with your own inbound marketing mix. And as we get ready for next season of SmartBug on Tap, of course, we'll be keeping an eye out for what's trending. But I want to hear what other marketers are doing in the space. And I would love to hear from you too. So what questions do you have in terms of optimizing your inbound marketing engine? You can reach us at marketing@smartbugmedia.com or tweet us at smartbugmedia. Thanks.